Take 3. All right, everybody. Today we are doing our lesson on collage with Picasso. Picasso did a lot of different types of work, but he did do work in collage. And so this picture here, if you can see it on the screen, is Punchinello, I think, I'm not sure, with a guitar. And anyway, we're going to be doing something similar to that. This is based on a clown. At that time, this is a different point. I know for you, clowns are scary, but at that time, clowns were fun. They were part of the circus. They were part of parades. They gave you candy. They were fun to watch. They did acrobats, unlike today's scary clowns that have been ruined for your childhood forever. So anyway, here's a collage, and I'm just going to take you through some steps. We're going to be using different types of construction paper. We're going to use a little bit of magazine paper that you have in your art sack as well. Glue, some color crayons, markers, pens, and that's about it for this project. So, how are we going to do that? We are going to start with a black sheet of construction paper. And I realize this is on a black table, so we'll see if you can see that better like this. And at first I took my color crayons, and you can choose depending on what you have available to you. You should have a box of color crayons in your art sack. And I kind of made where I want the background to go, and you can color this in. You could use construction paper if you really want to. You can do lines that are crosshatch just to add some texture to it. You can add additional colors to it.
So this technically would be a mixed media project,
yes,
right?
Yes, this is definitely going to be more of a mixed media project. And you may even find some things that you have around home that you could add to it just to make it more interesting. Then I took my construction paper, other than my black, because I want those colors to show. And oh, here it is, right here. And so I'm starting with I had a sheet of construction paper that was green, and then I started cutting it into kind of like little slivers to start making a curtain. And I didn't really worry about the edges to start with. So yeah, we start with the construction paper that's about this size, or you have one that's smaller in there too. You might be able to make that one work if you want to save this one. And then I just started cutting it and putting in my shapes. And then after it's like, okay, well this one is maybe too rigid, but I can curve that with my scissor just to give it a little bit more of a curtain feel to it. And then I didn't worry about the edges so much, and I can probably put them down even closer so that I can maybe even use them again after I get done. And I'm going to use my glue stick. So you have your Elmer's glue, and you also have your glue stick. And so I'm going to put a little bit of glue down, glue that down. I'm going to kind of make it so that it drapes kind of like a curtain, so I'm leaving a little more space at the bottom so you kind of feel the swag of the fabric. And then after I get that part done, then I'm going to cut off these tabs. It's just a lot easier to get the lineup of my paper. And you might want to wait till your glue is nice and dry so it doesn't wiggle on you before you cut it off. And then I decided to add some colors and textures to it. So then I went back. If you look at this one, you can see I added some black, there's a little bit of yellow, I added little scraps, I even added this fringe by just cutting the paper, and I have like a curtain that's parting. And then I put, like he is juggling 3 balls, and I just used, again, scraps of my construction paper. But when I cut those out, remember when you're cutting your paper not to cut out of the center of your paper. We have a tendency like, oh, I'm gonna need a ball, I'm gonna take it out the middle. Don't do that, because you can use this paper for other projects. So just cut off a strip off the end. Sometimes it's better just to cut off a little strip of paper, cut out the shape that you think you need. And remember, for those of you that struggle with scissors, hold the scissors still and turn your paper, and you'll have better success with cutting out something that's more intricate, okay? If it's just a simple cut like a triangle or a square, it's not such a big deal. But also notice on my design that I didn't use just the construction paper. I also took some paper that was just these like seed catalogs, and I just cut that up and put this on the outfit that he's wearing. I put it on for the shoes and for the hands. And then I just came back and I added some pen to it. Again, kind of did that crosshatch. I put some color crayon on top of it just to add a little bit of color to it. Same thing with the little balls on the shoes. and the balls that he is in the air. This was a piece of white paper and I just added design to it. I could add design up here if I want to as well.
Do you have to add more designs?
Yes, because it gives it that layer that's more fun and more interesting to look at. If you just put on the flat paper, it doesn't have any life to it. So you want it to feel like there's movement, even though it's implied movement. So like you can kind of get the idea that he is kind of dancing or moving while he's trying to juggle these 3 balls in the air. That's why the face is on overlapped sideways onto the collar, and the pants are underneath the shirt, and the arms are underneath the collar as well. So even that overlap will make a big difference as well when you work on your project. And then there's other little scraps too that maybe even these scraps that you cut out, maybe they would be fun to somehow add, just for added little textures and designs into your project. And here you could either use, again, your regular glue, and also if you're gluing, use some scrap paper to glue on so you don't get glue all over your table or whatever surface you're working on at home. Remember to always use your newspaper or scrap paper or something to protect your workspace area. Okay, and then I can just glue those down just to add something to it. And if I don't like those there, because I'm using the stick glue, I can easily move that and move it someplace else. This almost looks like a hazard symbol to me, which maybe is a sign of just the times and caution with clowns. Maybe that's what that's representing. So that's up to you. So you could have a little fun with it. It doesn't have to look just like this clown.
Does my clown have to be juggling?
No, we could be doing something else, but it should show movement of some sort. Okay, and like Picasso, he did things, he kind of chopped it up into blocks of color, so it doesn't have to be realistic. If you notice, I don't even have eyes on this clown. If you want to have more of a close-up and you just have the upper body of the clown and you can still show movement, that would be fine too.
How do you want us to put our name on it if the paper's black?
You could, if you have something white, you could do a white color crayon down here. If you don't have white pencil, typically will show up on black. It might be a little harder to see. I don't know if you can see it there or not. Or you could take it and even write it in a light area, whether it's in the curtain or right here. You can find some place that you can write your name on it. It might be even over here on the side if you have to. I wouldn't make it really large because then that takes away from the actual art project.
When is it due?
This project is going to be due right before Easter break, or is it after? After Easter break, excuse me. We are filming these ahead of time just to kind of get these ready, so I believe this one is due the 27th? All right, thank you. The 27th. So if you are jumping ahead in your lessons because you're bored, that's fine. But make sure that you read through all the material and do the worksheets as well.
And how do we turn it in?
All right, you're going to have to take a picture of it. Then after you take a picture, you're going to then submit it to your Google Classroom, and it'll be in the Picasso collage assignment. Okay? All right. Thanks.